Hello all, good morning. This is Karthik from Raj Cloud Technologies. I welcome you all to today's session like Microsoft Power BI data analyst like introduction session. I welcome you all. Thank you all for joining the session. Like I'll give a 2 minutes like introduction about like our institute and like what are the courses available in our institute and all. Okay. After that like I'll just like hand over the session to our trainer Ambarishan Garu. So he'll take over from there. Okay. So once again I welcome you all to today's Microsoft Power BI data analyst like introduction session. We have a website okay for our institute like we have a website called razinformatica.com. So this is our website. Okay. So our institute name is like Raj Cloud Technologies. Like earlier it was Raj Informatica, and now it like after adding like many cloud technologies, like we changed it as Raj Cloud Technologies. Both Raj Informatica and Raj Cloud Technologies are same. Okay. So in our institute, like we have a many courses are available here. That is like a Java, Azure Data Engineering, Azure Databricks, Power BI, AWS DevOps, Snowflake, Python full stack development, Informatica Power Center, Informatica Cloud, Python for AI and ChatGPT, Tableau training, and GCP like we are starting this month. Okay, and like Gen AI. So these are the two upcoming courses. And in our website like we have uploaded like many useful interview questions and like many useful materials as well. Okay, you can access it for free of cost. You don't need to pay anything for these things. Okay, so if you just go to the interview section, you can see like many useful interview questions are uploaded here. Power Center interview questions, Snowflake, AWS, okay, Oracle, Informatica Cloud, IICS, IDMC CI interview questions. These are the few interview questions like we have already added in our website. Even in the material section as well, you can check. Sorry, just a minute. Yeah, even in the material section as well. Okay, so you can see like many useful material we have uploaded here. Power Center, Informatica Cloud, IICS, IDMC. Okay, so data warehousing material, SQL material, like so many useful materials are also available here. Okay, yeah. So we have a YouTube channel as well. This is our YouTube channel. This is our YouTube channel. Okay. So our YouTube channel name is like Raj Informatica Real Time Hands On Job Based Training. Okay. So we have almost like 35.1K subscribers. Okay. So in this channel, like we will be uploading like many useful videos here. You can check out. Okay. So like many videos related to Snowflake, AWS DevOps, Power BI, Informatica Power Center, Informatica Cloud, Azure Data Engineering, Azure Databricks. Okay, so many other useful videos are uploaded here. Okay, so if you like the content, just like, comment, and subscribe to us. Okay, okay. So for all our updates, you can just subscribe to our channel as well, so that like you'll be getting all the updates through YouTube as well. And for the reviews, you can just search for Raj Informatica or Raj Cloud Technologies. You can see our business page right side. Okay. You can see a business page here. Okay. So if you just like scroll down, you can see view all Google reviews. Okay. So just click on view all Google reviews. Okay. And if you can just like click on like most relevant, like you can see here, see we have 1,414 reviews out of 5 stars. Like we have an average of 4.9 stars. Okay. If you can just scroll down, you will find like how our students felt experience with us. Okay, so how the people got jobs, and like you can see all the reviews here. Okay, yes, I'll be sharing the like a website link and YouTube channel link as well. I'm just sharing the website link in the chat box. And YouTube channel link as well. Okay, so and we have a special offer going on right now. In the homepage, you can see. Okay, we have a special offer going on right now. Okay, that is flat 20% offer on all our trainings. Okay, whatever the prices that you can see here, whatever the prices that you can see here, okay, on all these prices, there is an offer of 20% discount, and this offer is ending tomorrow, this 28th of February, like we are ending this offer. Okay, so if you can avail the opportunity, you can just like get this 20% discount on all our trainings, okay. You can see here the website prices, how the prices are here, okay. And you can easily like check out the prices, like you'll get this 20% offer on all our trainings, okay. So without any delay, I'll just like hand over the session to Ambarishan Garu. So please take over.
Sure. Thanks, Karthik. Yeah, I'll go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 minute. All right. I hope the screen is visible and I'm audible. Yes.
Yes, sir. Just a second,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Everyone, I'll just give a 30-second break. Okay. So just share your WhatsApp number and name. Okay. I'll just give a 30-second break. So just like share your mobile number, I mean WhatsApp number and your name as well. So that like my team will add you to the Power BI like real-time WhatsApp group. Okay. So that like you'll get the complete updates of the courses, and like you can go for the like real-time discussion and everything, like you can like check out in this group actually. Okay, so just 30 second small break. Okay, so just share your WhatsApp number and your name as well. Thank you.
All right. I hope you have shared the numbers. Just do that, please, so that you can be added to the WhatsApp group, and then we'll give you the latest updates on that particular group. All right, great. Let's go ahead and get started with today's session. So here is our page, the Microsoft Power BI, course page. I'm just going to go walk you over a few important details before we begin our session today. So, and I'm just going to put this in the chat as well. Yeah. So let me just go ahead and walk you through the course content here. All right. Now, what you'll be getting here is a kind of an exposure from a developer's perspective, from a Power BI developer's perspective. What is Power BI? We'll learn that. We'll work on the Power BI tool itself that is there. Okay, just give me 1 second, guys. I see some annotations here. I don't want to do that. Give me 1 second, please. Yeah. Okay. So we will be talking from a developer standpoint, and what we want to do here is understand how to develop a report in a local environment, which is going to be using Power BI desktop, and then we'll be publishing our report to a Power BI service. So that is what is going to be covered here. So if I were to quickly go through this course content just one more time here today. So we'll be covering, and we'll start off with something called as Power BI architecture. I'll introduce you to the Power BI architecture. In some time, we'll go and understand that. So that's going to introduce you to Power BI Desktop. Power BI Service is the server where we will deploy our code. Later, after you have developed this from desktop, that is where it is going to be deployed. And Power BI Mobile is an application in your mobile that you can use to go and view those reports as well. So Power BI Service is also going to be a place where you'll view the report, and Power BI Mobile is also an app in your mobile that will help you to use this app to view those reports. Okay. So that's there. So we'll just go talk about a few things there. We'll have some introduction to Microsoft Fabric that will come later point in time as one of our last sessions. I'll just go and introduce you to that one as well. But we'll mainly understand the architecture. We'll understand how to connect to different softwares as a service, SaaS products, and so on and so forth. And we need data for this particular tool. So we'll just go and first of all understand how to get started with connecting to the data set and bringing the data from different places. Okay, so I'll talk about file systems, I'll talk about the data on the web, I'll talk about on-prem servers, and I'll also talk about databases on the cloud. So all of these are some places from where you'll be bringing the data in real world scenarios. So I'll just go ahead and talk about all of that. Okay. After that, I would like to go ahead and give you something. I mean, it's a statement which is very true with respect to the data that you work with. So remember that the data is never clean. Okay, so the data will have all sorts of issues and other things, but you need to go and cleanse your data, clean your data, and then take it forward. All right, so that is what we will do in our transformation steps. So all of this is going to be based on, cleaning our data, transforming our data, getting it to the right shape. That's what we will do, and we'll use something called as Power Query Editor to go and do that. Okay, so that's something that is coming up as well, and we'll dedicatedly work on in this particular section here. After that, we'll talk about data modeling. That's also important because when you start bringing in a lot of tables, you may want to go and start visualizing things from two or more tables, right? So let's say you want to bring some visualization out from these two tables. What will you do? How will you go and get that? So in order to do that, what you'll have to do is you'll have to relate these two tables together. You'll have to connect these two tables together, and that is what is called as a data model. And I'll do that as we progress through the course. We will just go and understand what tables are to be connected, how are they to be connected, what are the best practices. All of that is what is coming up here. Okay. And then comes the most important part. This is going to be DAX, and you can see the extensive, details that we go and cover on DAX here. So we'll go and cover DAX in utmost detail, and we'll talk about a lot of different functions, and that's going to give you a good nice solid foundations on building the calculations, the derivation that you want. All of that can be done using the DAX here. So like I said, it's an extensive introduction to DAX sessions here, and we'll have at least like 8 to 10 hours of session. That's going to be totally, we'll have like 30-35 hours of lectures here, but out of that 10 hours is going to be dedicated for DAX. So it's like 1/3 of the entire course is on DAX. So you'll go and understand a lot of things on this DAX based things, right? And then comes the visualization part, and I'll also stress on this particular point later. Visualization is the last thing that you have to worry about. You don't have to jump into visualizations right away. You'll go and do this in some time, later point in time, but not right away. Okay. I may introduce you to some of the charts here and there where while I'll go and explain certain concepts. But what I want you to understand is the visualization should not be taken up right away in the very early phase, because like I said, the data is not going to be clean. It's going to be very much, something that you have to work on first of all. So just clean that up and then start visualizing the data. Okay. So that's how you want to do this. And finally, we'll go and, publish our data set to our Power BI service that's going to be there, as well as we'll work on some of the projects that we have in our class. So I don't want to get too much into the details here. You can look at this. The link is already shared. Go through all of these details. It's an extensive, Power BI course here, and you'll be mastering DAX and you'll be working on a lot of things. So yes, go through this particular site and understand. If you have any questions, reach out to my team, or you can also, ask them to reach out to me and kind of have a con call, and I can give you all the clarity. So just reach out to this number. We are available on WhatsApp as well as call. So just go ahead and do that. All right, let's go ahead and start our session today. I just wanted to go ahead and, kind of give you an idea about the course here. And also we want to understand how this is all set up. So let me just open up a slide and we will just see how this goes. Okay. All right. So this is our Power BI course. We are just kickstarting that here today. And my name is Ambarishan. I'll be your trainer, I'll be your instructor. And I have over 15 years of experience in the IT domain. I have trained more than 4,000, 5,000 people in the last 6, 7 years. And I've been into the data visualization for more than 8 years now. So I've worked on a lot of tools, a lot of data visualization tools like Power BI, Tableau, ClickView, ClickSense. These are top notch tools in the market right now. I'll show you that in the next slide. And yeah, I started my career as a data warehouse engineer, but slowly shifted my focus towards the data visualization tools. And yes, that's what we have here. All right, let's move on to the next slide. I wanted to just introduce you to one of the best things that is going on with Microsoft. So you can see that there is this magic quadrant. Okay, we call this as Gartner's magic quadrant. Now, what we have here is a company called as Gartner just trying to go ahead and rank all of these different products that we have on a BI platform, okay, business intelligence platform. So Power BI is a BI tool, and you can see Microsoft, it's a product from Microsoft, and you can see that that's the leader in the market right now. Yes, so Microsoft is the leader in the market right now. It is followed by Tableau, which I just mentioned, and also Click. So these are all the emerging players, and you can also see a lot of other players have come up and they are into the leaders quadrant, right? So this leaders quadrant is deciding who's on top, and you can see very well that Microsoft is placed on top, and that's the you know the capabilities, the power, and other things of Microsoft here. Okay, so you're learning one of the best tools in the market right now, and you're learning one of the tools that has evolved in a very short span of time as a leader here, and it has pushed all these different things. It has pushed Tableau below, it has pushed Click below. Now these are all 2 decade old products, 20, 30 years they have been into the market right now. But Microsoft is a very new player here. Microsoft launched this particular course like in 2014, 2025, or sorry, 2015 is when it was kind of immediately launched. So it is almost like 9, 10 years into the market right now, and you can see that Microsoft has already taken a lead. It has taken a lead from 2017 onwards. Okay, so it has been in the market for some time now, and that's the leader in the market in the BI space for now. Okay, so Gartner goes and kind of gives this rating for all the different products in different domains and other things. But this is BI platforms for you, and you can see that Microsoft is one of the top-notch products. Okay, so yeah, let me just go through a few slides and then we'll just move on to the actual ways of working. I'm just going to skip a few slides here. Yes, let's go ahead and talk about something called as traditional BI. Now, before we jump into the tool itself, before we talk about the tool and get into those connections and other things, let me just go ahead and give you a good, nice foundation on what is this tool all about. Okay, so let's talk about traditional ways of working. How was this tool, or how were certain tools working in the past, and how Power BI is working today? Because this understanding is very, very important. I'll be stressing on this particular concept again and again, over and over again, when we go through the course itself. Okay, so let me just give you this idea and then we'll move on to the tool itself. All right, I'll unmute you in some time. You can just go ahead and share your thoughts on questions that I ask. So just bear with me for some time. I'll give you the mic permission and you can talk to me in some time. Okay. All right, so let's talk about traditional BI. And before I talk about traditional BI, let me go to a particular website here. Let me just go to something called as makemytrip.com. Okay, and I'm going to book some flights here. So let's just go ahead and do that. And this is one of the sites where I can book the flights or hotels, and you know what to do with this website. There are a lot of different websites like this, but I'll use makemytrip.com to give you an understanding of what's going on here. Okay, I'll be unmuting you in some time and I'll give you the mic permission. You can talk to me, and we'll just discuss and go further here and there. Okay, so let's say, for example, I want to go from Mumbai to Delhi. Okay, let's just do that. Delhi. All right. And we'll just go ahead and book our flights from, let's just do somewhere in April, and we'll just return on, let's say 1 week later. Okay. Now I want to give this tool the difficult time to go ahead and search for these flights, right? So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and max these filters out. So I'll say, hey, I'm just traveling with 9 adults, 6 children, 6 infants, and I want to do this in a business class. So which means all of these passengers have to be accommodated in one single flight. So it has to find the flights where all of these different passengers can be accommodated, right? So that is the tough time I'm going to give this particular site. So let's go ahead and apply all these filters. So there are 21 travelers. We have marked our source, destination, and all of those different things. Let's go ahead and hit the search button. Okay. I'm going to pause the screen and I'm going to ask you some questions here. So yeah, just ready with those questions. Be ready with those questions. So I'm just going to hit the search button there. And there we go. Okay, I'm just going to hold there. And you can see that it is trying to search for something behind the scene. It says, hey, hold on. We are fetching the business class flights for you. What do you think is going on here? What are your thoughts? What is your understanding? What is the website doing? And, I've just paused the screen here, frozen the screen here. But what are your thoughts? What is going on behind the scene? What do you think? You have the mic permission. You can unmute and talk to me. What is going on? What do you think is going on behind the scenes here? What is the website trying to do?
So backend it will search for availability.
Right. Where is it searching for the availability?
So in database data.
In the database. Very good. That's the one word that I wanted. Very good. Thank you for that. Okay.
Yeah.
So what it is doing? Yes, please. Go on. Was someone talking?
It is filtering out records from a number of rows
Correct.
in the
Correct.
database.
In the database. Very good. Yes, that's what I want. So what we have done is we have given the search criteria. Yes or no? We have given the search criteria. We're saying, hey, we want to go from here to here, and we want to depart on this date. We want to return on this date. And there were 21 passengers that we have kind of added to this list. So what it does is it goes and frames a query based on this. Can I say that? It goes and frames a query based on that input that we have given, and it's going to look for this particular input or details in a database. Can I say that? Yes. So that's how I want you to understand this. So it frames a query behind the scenes based on the input that we have given, and it is going to look for the details in the database, whatever database. Let's say it's going to go talk to whatever flights database that they have, or any database that they have from which they can gather this information and can give you that information, right? So that's what is happening. So based on our input, it's going to frame a query and it is going to look for the details on the database. Very good. That's the understanding that we want to have for now. Okay. So once I come out of it, once I come out of the froze or freeze mode, we'll just come out of it, and you can see these are all different flights that we have, Indigo flights and other flights. If you can just look at it, so that's what we have, and these are all the different flights that you can go and look for and book during this particular time, right? That's good. I'm just going to do this in a real time fashion, one or two more times. Just hold on. We'll just change the date a little bit. Just hold on, and it's going to remain the same. Let's go ahead and do a search, and I want you to observe what's going on here. Okay, so please observe what's going on here, and you can see a slight bit of a delay. That's what I want you to concentrate on. Have a look. Search. So it's going to search for things. It's not giving me the details immediately. Yes, it comes up with a few seconds of delay, and you can see the flights have the list has shown up, but there was a slight bit of a delay, right? So let's just do this one more time. Let's just say I want to go from Chennai to New Delhi, and that's going to be a different date altogether. Let's just do this way, and the same number of passengers. So it's going to be a different search criteria. So it's going to do its thing. And you can see there was a bit of a delay, right? It's not immediate, but there was a slight delay, and we would like to go ahead and use this for our explanation purposes in some time. So let's just go talk about it. Okay, I hope you are understanding what's going on. So we search for a flight. It's not a BI tool. It's not a business intelligence tool. It's not a reporting environment. This is more like a website. I'm just trying to give you an example, and based on that, we'll just go forward. Okay. So let's go back to our slide. We are talking about traditional BI. We are talking about how the tools were working in the past, and it works or it worked exactly like the website that I showed you. Okay. So let me go to the next slide. And this is one of your, old traditional ways of working, traditional reporting tool. So you can see a similar set of inputs to be given, right? So you have to give month, week, quarter, and year to generate a report out of that particular combination. So, or the inputs that is given. So what is going to happen? It's going to go frame a query. It's going to run this under or inside a database, and that's going to return the query to you, right? So that's how this is going to work. And that's one of the, old ways of working. This is one of the traditional tools that we are talking about. This is not Power BI. We'll get to Power BI, but this is the traditional tool that we are talking about. Okay. So let me explain this in detail. Okay. So what did we have? We have a database behind the scene. Yes, we'll get to that. And we have a traditional reporting tool. So as soon as you go and give the input, let's say there are text boxes, there are drop downs and whatnot, you have those different inputs. And once you give those drop downs and inputs based on those different details, a query is going to be framed behind the scene. Yes. The query is going to be executed in the database, and the results will come back, and you will start seeing the charts, graphs, and other visuals here. Okay, we're talking about a reporting tool, a traditional BI tool. So hence it's going to be more like a chart, graph, or table, something like that. Okay, I hope you're getting this idea. Now let me just take a step back and we'll understand something here. Now with the flights database, what you had was just 2 days of data, right? A few days of data, right? So we had a source, destination, and then we had a starting date, we had an ending date, the start date of our journey, the return date of our journey, right? So those are the 2 dates only on which, for the same source and destination, it has to go and filter the flights for us, right? It was not a big deal. It was doing it with a few seconds of delay. You saw that. Good. Now let's talk about a very big database, very big business. Let's talk about Amazon as a business. Yes. So let's say we are working for an Amazon, company, and we are just kind of building the reports for them. What do you think? How many transactions are happening in a single day? There are millions and millions of transactions happening in a single day in Amazon, right? A lot of people are purchasing products on a everyday basis. And what's going on? Every single day, there are millions and millions of transactions going on. Yes, it is across India, if you're just considering India, but it is a global presence. The business has a global presence. So it is going to be even more than that, 10 times the Indian, transaction that is happening. So you can imagine, let's say, you know, 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, whatever that is. Just have a count in mind. Okay. Now, let's say I just don't want to do this for last 1 day or 2 days. When I want to go out and let's say, for example, my boss is asking for a trend line and he wants to understand the trend for the last 5 years, let's say, for example, last 5 years. Okay. Now, if I were to go ahead and compare the Amazon's data for last 5 years, imagine the volume for 1 day, multiply by 30, that's going to be our 30 days volume. Multiply that by 365. Yes, that's going to be 1 year's volume. And do that again, multiply that by 5 years, you'll get a big number. Okay. A few billions or trillions of records. That's what you're looking for in 5 years of data, last 5 years of information, right? So what if I'm querying the database for the last 5 years of Amazon's database? Do you think I'll get the results immediately? Yes or no? You can put that on the chat or you can talk to me. You still have the mic permission. What do you think? Do you think the results will be obtained immediately within a fraction of a second? Yes or no?
No.
No. Okay. So that's how things work, right? So you'll have to go ahead and execute a query on the database. And when this query gets executed in the database, based on the data, it is going to take some time. And the results that you get back is going to be slightly delayed. Yes or no? So that is something that I want you to understand. Okay. And this is how a traditional BI tool was working. So whenever you go ahead and input certain details, it's going to frame a query. It's going to be run against the database. And based on the amount of data that you're trying to pull, it can be Amazon's database, consider Uber, Ola, Zomato, Zepto, whatever that is, you have transactions going on every single minute. And as the years are increasing, as we are going down the line, the number of transactions is also going to increase because more and more people will purchase and buy and book a lot of cabs and things like that. So I hope you're understanding my point. So as we go progress through years and years after 1 year, it's going to just be more and more data coming in. So 5 years of data on any of these different businesses is going to be too much, right? So you can't really go and expect this to be given to you within a fraction of a second. So it's going to take some time, and we're not going to worry about the time, but there is always a delay, and we want to just understand that there is a delay in reporting back those numbers. Okay, good. So I'm just going to do this. Let's go ahead and understand this. So what we have is we have a traditional reporting tool, and this tool is going to send some request to the database. The query is going to be executed here, and it's just going to take some time based on the amount of data that you're fetching. Let's say 5 years of Amazon's data. It's going to take a lot of time to query, process, and then it gives back you the results, right? Let's say the results are coming back to this tool, and that's when you'll go and get those results, charts, graphs, and other things. Okay. Now, this is how a traditional tool was working. Let's say you were working on a BI tool like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I've started my career like 20 years ago. So, I would say when I was just getting started, when I saw these tools work, I have to sit and wait for 1 day, 2 day long. I'll run the job in my server. It will run for a day or two, and then it will fetch last 5 years of data. It can go that long as well. So every single day, I'll just have to initiate the job. It goes and runs for hours and hours together. It can even go past one entire day, and that's how things were. Okay, so that is the disadvantage that we're talking about. So let's talk about the disadvantages here of this traditional BI tool. So what are we talking about? We're talking about delays during reporting, right? We're talking about that there used to be a dedicated developer and who will understand the nitty-gritty details of that particular tool. Let's say if I ask you to go and get started with Java based website development, can you go and do that? No. I'm asking you to start off with .NET. That's another technology for web development. No. Python can also be used for web development. Okay. Let's say I give you a choice of going and getting started with any platform, any coding language, and I'm asking you to go and get started with a web-based technology, and I want you to build me a website. You can't really go and get started just like that, right? So you need some understanding. You need some basic understanding of certain technologies, certain scripting languages. You need to understand HTML, you need to understand CSS, and then there's JavaScript and a lot of things that goes into this website building. So you'll have to go do this step by step. I'm just giving an example, right? So similarly, traditional tools were not easy to work. Okay. These tools were not easy to work. So that this required a dedicated developer, and this guy was responsible for anything that he has to do inside this particular tool, right? So if you want to go and change something, let's say you wanted to go and change a logo, you'll have to go to this guy. He has to find some time. He has to go and update this logo, then send it to the production and testing team and other teams, and then he will go and get those details, right? So this is how I want you to understand. Okay. So we need a dedicated developer, and these tools were very difficult to work on. That is how we want to go and look at it. Okay. Now, I hope this is clear. Any questions on this slide? Anyone? Let me know. You can use the chat box as well. Just put that on the chat. I'll have a look, and you can just go and talk to me. Any questions? Anyone? I hope it's clear. Yeah. Okay, good. So let's move on. Let's go to the next slide, and I'll go and talk about the modern BI tool and modern ways of working. All right. Okay, have a look. So let's go into the next slide, and this is where we get introduced to Power BI. So Power BI is going to be one of the modern BI tools, and we'll understand how this tool has changed the game really to go and kind of change the way it goes and connects to the data set and brings the data and works with the data. We'll just go understand that from that perspective, and we'll go move forward with that. Okay. All right. So have a look. So we will have, just give me a minute. Okay, we'll just have this. All right, give me 1 second, please. There is some issue with the order in which I wanted this to be executed. Just give me a minute. Okay. All right. Let me just share my screen one more time. Okay, have a look. Okay, so we had this on-prem server. Yes, just like our old traditional ways of working. Let's just stick to the on-prem server again. Now, how the Power BI tool or any modern BI tool, when I say modern BI tool, I showed you the Gartner's quadrant. So Power BI, Tableau, ClickView, ClickSense, Google, any of those different platforms today is going to work the same basis. Okay, just have a look. So instead of going back to the database, let's say you have this reporting tool here, instead of going back to the database and coming back with a result, what these tools will do is these tools will pull the data within itself. Okay, so it is going to pull the data within itself. And what these tools will do is they will go and store this data as compressed versions of the file in your local RAM. Okay, you're getting my point? So we are not going back and forth with the data. We're not going to, kind of go back and forth and get to the data. We are going to store that. This tool, Power BI Desktop or any other tool, the modern ways of working is this. And these tools will pull the data into itself and they'll go and store this inside local RAM memory. Yes. So your computer has RAM, your mobile phones today has RAM. RAM is required because some of the application that you open is going to have some sort of a file placed in that RAM memory, and that's going to give the quickest access to read and write that particular data or details, and that's why we need RAM, right? So you may have heard of 8 GB RAM in your machine and 16 GB RAM in your machine, so on and so forth. I'm just giving you an example, right? So that's what we have. Now let's understand a few things here. This is how things are going to work with your modern BI tools. What is it? So the tool is going to be this tool, Power BI, will actually pull the data. So we talked about 5 years worth of data for Amazon. So 5 years worth of data for Amazon is going to be pulled into this tool, and it is going to generate a compressed version of the file. And this file is going to be sitting in your local memory, the random access memory, and that's what we call as RAM. Yes. Now, let's talk about a few things here. Okay. And I want you to understand how this works. And there is a drawback here. There is an advantage here. The advantage is the RAM is having your file now. You're having the database. It's more like a copy of your database into this RAM. Yes. So 5 years of data being copied or being available, made available from your local machine. And that's what you want to go ahead and do this, right? So you have got this. Now, what you want to do is you want to understand how much data can I store in the RAM? Yes, so let me just come back to that one. So I'll show you how this goes. Have a look. Let's say you have about 8 GB of RAM. Okay, 8 GB of RAM. I'm just using my mouse to write all of this, so don't mind my bad handwriting here, but just bear with me. Let's say you're sending, like, let's say for example, let me just do this. Give me 1 second. Let's say you're sending 10 GB of information. Okay. And assuming that this has a compression ratio, we are talking about compressed version of the file. So this has a compression ratio of 10:1. Okay. What does that mean? So if I'm sending 10 GB of information, that 10 GB can be converted into 1 GB, and 1 GB of information is what is going and getting stored in our RAM. Yes. So this is our RAM, random access memory, correct? Now, can 1 GB be stored in 8 GB of RAM? Yes, it could be very much possible. But what if I'm sending, let's say, 100 GB of information? 100 GB of information, the same 10:1 ratio, what happens now? So we'll have 10 GB of RAM coming out. Yes. So can you go and store 10 GB of RAM into your, 10 GB of information into your 8 GB of RAM? No. So the data is too much to be accommodated into the RAM memory. So that's where things will fail. Okay. So since we are talking about memory here, these tools are called as in-memory tools. And I'll call this concept that I'm just going through as in-memory concept here and there during our session. So this is what is important for you to note and understand. Okay. So we are dealing with memory. We are working with memory. So these tools are called as in-memory tools. And if you hear me talking about in-memory concept anywhere, this is what I'm referring to. Now, this comes into play every single time you want to work with your data. All right. So whenever you work with your data, you're loading the data into the memory. So you're just bringing the data from the database into the memory like this, into the compressed versions of the file. And then that is going to be stored in your random access memory. So once you have all of this way, you will have to be very careful. You'll have to be not overloading your data and not choking your memory. That's very, very important. So make sure that you understand how much data can be loaded into Power BI. Okay, because Power BI will store that into the memory and then work with that. So if your tool, let's say, for example, you're loading 5 years worth of data from Amazon's database, and it's not something that this environment can take up, you don't want to bring in 5 years of data as of now, because you just into a development environment. When you go and publish this to the server, that's where you can go and bring in all the data that you want, because the server will have more capacity, more capability to go and handle this much amount of data. You don't have to do this in your desktop version. The desktop version, the Power BI desktop that you'll go and work with, is going to be a platform to build a prototype, I would say. Okay, I hope you're getting my point. So that is more like a platform or an environment to build a prototype here. You're not going to do anything with this particular detail. Okay, so you're just building something. So build it with minimal amount of data. You don't have to really bring in all the information and then go and load it and then work with that. You just are going to start off with a minimum detail and then go from there. So that's what I want you to understand, right? So yeah, this is the idea that I want you to have. Any questions here, anyone? Let me know. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. Instead of going back to the database, talking to the database and coming back with the results, which was happening in your traditional BI tool, we are actually pulling this information into the tool itself. The tool will do it for you. Power BI Desktop will actually pull that information and store that as a compressed version of the file. It's then going to go cut off this relationship. It's not going to pull or talk to the database at all. It is going to read and write from your compressed versions of the file. Okay, so that is how things are going to be. And if you have, like, let's say, very limited amount of RAM, 8 GB of RAM, you have to make sure that it's not fully occupied with so much of data. You have to be very, very careful here. Okay. Any questions so far? Anyone? Okay. All right. So yeah, let me just go and talk about the advantages. Yes,
I have one
please.
question, sir.
Yes, please.
So this, so it is it's a compressed file. So it's going to sit in the RAM or is in the computer cache files.
Yeah, it's more like a cache file. Yes, it's the RAM where it is going to be occupied and it will be sitting in the RAM memory.
So if the RAM is 8 GB only
Mm-hmm.
and our data size is 14 GB,
Yeah.
then how this is going to be managed?
No, see, the example that I gave you, the compression ratio, I talked about 10:1 ratio, right? Don't take it for granted just like that. 14 GB, that's okay. Even if 14 GB comes in, there is going to be some sort of a compression. This is just an example. This is just an assumption that I'm making and telling you that way. So there is going to be some sort of a compression applied here, and that compression is going to be huge. So you don't have to take the exact number. If it is 8 GB of RAM, if you're bringing 14 GB, that's fine. There will be some sort of a compression and it can go and sit in your 8 GB of RAM. It can be less than, some 14 GB of RAM that you have brought in. So it can be like, let's say 1.7 GB when it comes here. Okay. So that's what is going to be stored inside your RAM. So you don't have to worry about that. The compression engine behind the scene can do this work for you, but this is just to help you understand how this compression goes on so that you don't load too much of data into your memory. Okay.
Yeah. So my last question is, what if the data size is more than the RAM size?
Yes. So if the data is more than the RAM, you have to reduce your data while you work in the desktop version. Okay. So we're going to work on Power BI desktop. So this desktop is going to be installed in your machine, in your laptop or a desktop. So if that is the case, you don't have a supercomputer here. You don't have a powerful machine with you. You can go up to like what, 8 GB of RAM, 16 GB, 32 GB. You can add some RAM memory and capacity to this one, but you can't take it all the way up so that your data can be fit into it. So what I want you to do is you want to reduce your data. You limit your data to certain number of years. If you can't load 5 years of data, limit it to last 1 year of data. And you build a prototype, you build a report, and then you publish it to the server. And there you can, from 1 year, you can increase it to 5 years. Servers will have capacities to increase and kind of have that much compute power. So you can do all of that in the server after you have developed your reports. Okay. That's how I want you to do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's the way we go and work with our real-time projects. Yes. Okay, good. So yeah, this is what we have. All right. Now, like I said, this particular detail will be cut off and we'll be only working with this compressed version of the file. So Power BI is going to read and write from this file, and that's how things are going to work. Okay. Now, whenever you want to update your data, you can still bring in this connection. You can bring this connection back and you can always get that compressed file updated. So that's all going to be there. But if you're not doing it, it's going to be just the very first time you took that particular you know, data set, the backup, I would say, that's going to be available. Otherwise, it's going to be just the old outdated data. But you may want to go ahead and bring and refresh this particular, uh, you know, uh, particular connection and then bring the data inside your compressed version of the file. It's more like overwriting your data again and again when you bring and connect to that particular database. So you're just doing that. Okay. So that's something that goes on here. And once you're done with all this development process, all of this is done, you have connected and you worked with all of this, you're going to publish this to Power BI service. This is what I said, the cloud-based server. And this is where you'll increase that capacity. You don't have to worry about not loading the entire data in the desktop version. This is just a development workspace for us. And you want to publish this particular detail to a cloud-based environment. We'll do that sometime later in our course. And that is where you'll increase this data size so that that can be accommodated and that can be worked on. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the advantages here. What is the advantage? The advantage here is the data is lying in your local machine now. So there is no need for you to go to the database, wait for that query to be executed, and then you don't want to come back and get the results here. So instead of going and doing all of that, the data has already been pulled into the local RAM, local memory, and the tool can read and write this information from here. So that is going to be reducing your reporting time drastically. And that's one of the biggest advantages that we have here. When compared to the traditional BI tool, where it was taking a lot of time, here we have the data lying locally, and that becomes one of our advantages to go and get to that data in a very quick time. Okay. And then we have something called as self-service BI. So these tools are called as self-service BI. Okay, let's say I'm talking to Jeff Bezos, right? He was the former CEO of Amazon, and he still owns the company, but I'm just saying that he's not a CEO anymore. So let's say you're talking to your CEO, and I'm saying, hey, this is how you connect to your data set. You bring in this data into Power BI, and then you start visualizing this data this way. So what I'm talking about here is asking a management guy who is not into the tools, not working with all of these technical stuffs. He can still go and drag and drop and build a report in a very few minutes of time. Okay. So that is the capability and that's the ease of use that we are talking about here when it comes to Power BI desktop. Okay. So it's so simple, so easy to go and work with that anyone can get started with this tool. And hence we call this as a self-service BI. Okay. So that is something that I want you to understand. This is a self-service BI for us. The reporting time has drastically reduced, and that's something that you have to go and understand as well. Okay. So let me open up a report here. Give me 1 second. Let me open a report here. I'll tell you what is the power of this Power BI. And probably this is going to come to you as a project. When we do a project in our session, in our course, you'll see that this is going to be coming to you as a project. So I'm just going to bring this up. You will understand what is that I'm talking about. What are we going to build in Power BI? So Power BI is more like a BI tool. We are getting into the definition of a BI in some time, but we will understand it from a very simple standpoint. It's going to be more like a reporting tool for you. And this is what we have. So this is a Power BI desktop version I have. And you can see this is going to be more like a, just give me a minute. So this is going to be more like a reporting environment. And since the data is going to lie in the local memory, so when I opened this file, the respective data source was all connected, and that data was pulled into the memory. Okay. Now, when I go change something, let me just click on some bars and charts here. Have a look. I'll click on this and you'll see every number is changing. Yes, every single number is changing here. The highlights and all of that is happening. You can see all of the maps, charts, graphs, everything is just changing, right? So if I click on this, everything is just going to change. These numbers are all changing. Now, how quick is that response? That response is very quick because it is all lying in your local memory. Okay. So when that happens, your response time, your users are going to experience much faster response. And that's what we are talking about here. Okay. You can also add some filters. You can go with Brazil. You can go with Canada. You can go with India. You can see all of that particular change happening in every single visual. So all of these visuals will change and give you the results in that fashion. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. And you will be able to go and get your data, understand and filter out certain details, narrow down your search, or your users can do all of this and then understand what's going on with your information, right? So this is a data visualization tool. It can also be called as a reporting tool in a very generic fashion, but it's a BI tool, business intelligence tool, and we are going to get into the definition of it in a while, but that's what we have. Okay. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to build a report like this. You'll go and add some filters and slices to your data set. And then you will have some charts, graphs, and visuals brought out so that the data that we have a look at our data. Okay. So this is going to be our data. Okay. This is too much of the information. So no human can digest all of this information just in one go. So what have we done? We have gone ahead and created some visualizations. And based on that, we are trying to slice and dice that information. And we want to understand this. What is this? This is all about Zomato's data set. Okay. So I just got some data from the internet and I've just got some details prepared here. So if I were to understand, okay, how many excellently rated restaurants are there? I'll just have to go and either choose from the average rating like that, or maybe just click on these different bars or color codes so that I can get to those numbers immediately. So if I click on the dark green here, so we have about 301, you know, um, excellently rated restaurant. And how are they available? They are available on these different countries, these different continents, otherwise in this different fashion. And that's what we have. And you can see the split by different country. India has about 116 excellently rated restaurant. United States has so much of information, so on and so forth. And that's how I want you to look at this. Okay. So these are all the details that you have, and you can go and slice and dice your data, get into these information. And that's what we are trying to target in some time, and we'll be building a report like this after we cover a few concepts. Okay, so that's what we are getting to, and I hope that RAM memory, the data sitting in the RAM, that part is understood. So when you click on this, the response that you're getting, the information that is getting, filtered is all coming from the local memory. And since the local memory is faster to get to read and write that information, so it's able to do all of that information right away. Okay. So that's what I want you to understand, and that's what we are talking about here. So I hope that's all clear. Any questions here so far, anyone? Okay, just a reminder, you can send your WhatsApp details to us on the chat. Just put it on the chat and we'll take it and we'll add it to a group where we post the updates. You can also reach out to our team using the numbers on the screen, right? So if I go back to this one, just reach out to our team on this number. I'm just going to put this link on the chat box one more time. Just do that so that our team can reach out to you. If you have any questions, do talk to them or ask for me. I'll be there on the call and I can just kind of clarify all the questions for you. And then, yes, we'll go forward with that. Okay. So if you're really interested in this course, just go ahead and let us know and we'll just do everything. And there was one 20% discount that my team was talking about. So go ahead and avail that. It's going to be a great thing. Just go ahead and avail 20% discount on any of the courses that you want to join. Power BI, if you're looking for Power BI, yes, just go ahead and make use of that. That is available until tomorrow. Okay, good. All right, so let's move forward. Any questions here? Otherwise, I'll just go to the next slide, which is going to be about the BI definition.
Yes, sir. I have one question.
Yes, please.
For practice purpose, data who will provide?
Say
Hello.
that again, please. Say that again.
For practice purpose, data, right?
Yeah, I'll give you all those information. Yes, I'll give you the data set. I'll tell you where to and how to go and fetch that information. So based on every single topic that I cover, I'll share everything with you. So the data set, my own files, the working session files, and we'll cover some assignments and hands-on. All of that I'll share everyday basis. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions before I move on? All right. Let's just go to the next slide here. So we are talking about Power BI, right? So Power BI has BI in it. So we have been talking about traditional BI. We talked about modern BI. We talked about the modern BI ways of working, the tools and other things. Now let's go and get into the definition of BI. BI stands for business intelligence. And I would like to put the question to you all first. What do you think is business intelligence? What is business intelligence according to you? Right or wrong answers, that's fine. Let's go and have some start. We'll just talk about a few things. What do you think is business intelligence? Anyone? Anyone has a rough idea? Any idea about how this is to be understood or explained? What is BI according to you? You still have the mic permission. You still have the chat permission. Go ahead and put that on the chat or mic. Yes, use that. Yes, please.
To generate insights.
Okay,
Like
generate insights. All right, good. I'll take that. That's some part of this definition covered. Okay, what else? What else? I want that input from you all. Let's see. Let's complete this business intelligence definition part by part. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one to generate insights. Very good. What are you going to do with those insights? Anyone? What are you going to do with those insights? That's the second half of this definition. What will you do with those insights? You're generating some insights. Very good. But what will you do with that insight? How will you use it? Okay, never mind. Let's go on and look into this information. Now I want you to look at the diagram that I have here, and I'm just going to split that into two. Okay, so we'll just split that into two. Now what you have here is you have some sort of a data sources. Yes, we'll get into these details in a while, but the whole idea, and someone said generating the insights, that comes here in the visualization phase. Okay, now just I'm having a divider here, and I'm just going to kind of split this into two. I'm going to call all of this as phase one. Okay, this is our phase one, and this is going to be our phase two. All right, this is what I'm going to call this. In phase one, what we do is we identify the data source. Where is our data coming from? We do some ETL stuff. We'll get into these details in a while. We store that data somewhere. In this case, it can also be a RAM that we talked about, right? So these tools can go and store things in a random access memory. And we are going to start visualizing our data. I showed you the report, the Zomato's report. So we'll build some visualizations based on that. That's what is called as generating the insights from your data set. Yes, that's what we are to do. Good. Now you have created an amazing report. You have created a very good report. Will you go and keep it with yourself? No. You want to share that report with your users. Yes. We call them as business users. So you're going to share those reports, charts, graphs, dashboards, whatever you have, whatever you call it. You're going to share that with your end users. Yes or no? And what are they going to do with that? They're going to take decisions out of it. You have created a trend chart and you see that the profit has been increasing for some time, but it has decreased for, and it has also gone negative in the last few years. What is this going to help the users to do? They'll dig in deeper. They'll understand why is the profit kind of going this way, the negative way. And why can't we make profit here? They are going to take and look at from those different perspectives, and they're going to take decisions out of this data. Yes or no? So what you have done is you have created a chart, a line chart or a trend chart like this. Very good. What is that? The chart is telling you what is there in the data. The data that you have connected to, it's nothing but this chart is telling you what is there in the data set, right? That's your job. You have done that. Very good. And you have shared that particular detail to your end users, and they are looking at the chart and they are making decisions out of it, right? So Jeff Bezos looking at Amazon's business spread across different regions, different territories, different places. He thinks that in one of the region he's not making enough profit. What will he do? Either he will try to see if he can push certain other things so that he can drive some profit there. Yes, he can make some more sales, add some more things, and then make some profit. Otherwise, he can shut down that particular business in that particular area, and that's more than enough, more than good enough, right? So they are going to make decisions out of the data. So that's the whole point. Okay, so you're not going to build just the insights. You won't just go and have the insights built. You're not going to stop here. You'll have to go and pass on this information or share this information with your users, and they are going to make some informed decisions. We call this as business decisions, and that is very, very important. We are calling this as informed business decisions. Okay, so what is BI overall? BI is nothing but a process in which you're transforming your raw data. So we are going to go through this entire phase. You're transforming your raw data, going through different phases. You're transforming that into something that is usable, with which you can create some actionable insights. That's what we talked about. How are you going to do that? Through some data analysis, visualization, and reporting. So you're going to apply some analysis, visualizations, and reporting kind of a concept. And then you're bringing that data to life. You're building those insights. And then you're going to share that with your users to help them support in informed business decision making. Is that clear? Yes. So this definition has two parts to it. Without you sharing this information to your users, the definition is not complete. Without them taking those informed business decisions, this definition is not complete. Is this clear, everyone? Just from the definition standpoint, I hope this is all clear. If not, let me know. I'll go into the details right now. Okay, we'll just go into these details right now. But anything there? Okay, good. So that's the definition of a BI. Okay. Now let's talk about this. Now let's understand when Amazon started its business, right? We have these cloud technologies today. Amazon itself is a cloud player, right? Meaning they own the cloud business. So Amazon Web Services, if you have heard of this term, they own the cloud business themselves, right? And they have the majority of the stake, followed by Azure from Microsoft, followed by Google Cloud Platform, All of these are cloud-based players, and they're doing amazingly well there, right? But before cloud technologies, before any of these top-notch technology, do you think Amazon would have started with a hi-fi combination of a technology stack? No, right? So let's say they started off with some CSV files. So Jeff Bezos, if you have seen those interviews, he used to sit in his apartment and he would just code all night. Yes. And he'll just run that particular software on the daily basis. This is the same case with Elon Musk as well when he was doing the PayPal stuff. So he'll just code all night and he'll just run the site on the daytime, right? So that's how things are going to work. So let's say they were not into technology stack too much and they started off with a CSV file, right? Then as they progressed, they probably started off or kind of migrated to a database. And then further down the line, they kind of shifted down to data warehouse. And then they can go and have some insights generated and all of those different things. I mean, they're just slowly moving into these different things one by one, right? No one can just pump in the money and get started with top-notch technologies. You won't have all that for a startup. I hope you're understanding my point, right? So this is how I want you to look at it, right? So the data sources, and even today, the businesses are storing the data in different formats, or probably you'll have to collate all this information from different formats. So let's say this is a legacy system where you're bringing in, so you can use Microsoft Access database, right? So you can have files like Excel, CSV, or you can have some folders in which your files lie in your cloud-based environment. You can have databases in which your files and the data lies, I mean, I'm just talking about those different things. So you'll have to identify where is the data lying, and then you'll have to go ahead and get into a process called as ETL. That stands for extraction, transformation, and loading. Okay. So you're going to extract the data from all of these different data sources. It can be multiple data sources as well, but you have to extract the data from multiple data sources. You're going to load that somewhere. You can load it into a data warehouse. I'll tell you why data warehouse is in the picture, but we talked about the random access memory in just the previous slide, right? So we can also have the data stored in that format for Power BI, and then we can start visualizing our data. Okay, we'll get to that. But let's talk about this ETL. Extraction is simple. You're just extracting the data. You're just pulling that information. Loading is easy. Loading, it means you're just pushing that data into some place. Straightforward tools and terminologies here, right? Let's talk about transformation a little bit. And this is going to be the place where you'll spend most of your time, because this talks about transformation, talks about data cleansing, data discrepancies to be avoided and rectified. All of that is going to be done in transformation phase. Okay. Now have a look. Let me give you an example. Let's say there is a simple, data set that you're bringing in, and this is a population data. Okay. You're bringing in the population data, and in that population data, let's say you have a column called as gender column. And in that gender column, instead of having male and female kind of a thing, what you have is you just have zeros and ones. Okay, let's say we have a couple of zeros and then ones, and all of this is how the data is all set up. Okay, so there is a column called as gender coming in your file, population file that you're trying to load, and that has a value like zeros and ones for this case. Now you're going to the visualization phase, and what you're doing is you're building a nice, good visualization, and you're just coming up with this chart. Just don't mind my bad drawing and bad handwriting. I'm just using my mouse here. So what we are doing here is the gender column was converted into a visualization like this. You've got this and you're sending this to your user. Yes. Now, what's the first question he's going to ask? He's going to ask you, hey, what is 0 and what is 1? Define 0 and define 1. You getting my point? So what I'm talking about here is, don't jump into the conclusions right away. Don't jump into building your report right away. That's not something that is required. Okay. You have to go ahead and rectify the information here. You want to go ahead and cleanse your information. You want to go ahead and shape your data properly so that this becomes more meaningful. So if I were to say that 0 stands for male, 1 stands for female, and then you go and change this to male and female here, how is this looking now? How is this giving the information to the user? The user will be able to understand what's going on. Yes or no? So that's the advantage of transforming your data. Transformation can be anything. Transformation can be all about the number of columns you want to add, delete, update. So anything and everything that you do, anything that you're doing from this extraction process onwards and between loading your data, anything that you do is what is called as a transformation. I hope you're getting that. Yes. Are you clear? So that is what we will do. We'll also spend most of our time here. When I showed you the course content, I did talk about the transformation phase. Yes or no? Look at that. We will go and transform our data and we'll work on a lot of transformations. Okay. So this is going to be an ideal and also an important part of your, uh, you know, the entire process. Without transforming your data is always going to be in a different format, different shape and size. You have to bring it to the right format, in the sense right ways to work with that. Adding that meaning like male and female to your gender column was the derivation that we were trying to do, right? So you have to go and derive a lot of that, and that's what is going to be important. We'll slowly get into those details, but that's what is important for you to understand. Okay. So once that is there, we'll talk about data warehouse concepts. Now this becomes the concepts for your base to work with business intelligence tools. Okay. We'll talk about something called as dimensions. Okay. And we'll talk about something called as measure. We'll talk about something called as dimensional modeling or data modeling. So these are all concepts coming from warehouse, and this becomes the foundation of your visualization tool like Power BI. Okay. So if you want to work with Power BI and if you want to work on these different tools, you need to understand these foundational aspects of it, and hence it's going to be very important. We'll get into that in a while, but that's something that we will learn as we progress. Okay. And then finally, we'll understand how to visualize things with BI. Yes. And then we'll also understand how to share and collaborate with our users. This is where we'll publish this to the cloud-based environment, Power BI service, which I was mentioning earlier, and we will share that to our users. So Power BI is going to be an end-to-end solution. So you will start off with this. We'll go and do an ETL stuff. We'll also go and store that in some fashion. Okay, it may not be data warehouse, but you can also leverage the information from the data warehouse and you can go from there. And that's all something that we will go and look into. Okay, and then finally, you'll share and collaborate with your users, and that's how things are going to be. All right. Any questions here, anyone? All right. If not, I'll conclude our session here today. Okay, this was just a basic introductory session. I'll just kind of give you one more input. So let me just come out of the slide. If you really want to install Power BI desktop, and if you're trying to join for the rest of the classes, I think we'll have like 2 to 3 sessions where you can kind of join, understand how the flow is going, and then you can also decide on enrolling for this course. But if you're really liking the content, if you really like the delivery here, and you can still take that one day from here today as well, because like my team mentioned, they are gonna give you 20% discount on all the courses, right? So if you want to avail that, that offer ends tomorrow. So make sure that you're deciding before tomorrow on enrolling for this course and deciding on those different details. Go through our reviews, go through our details. Just talk to us if you really have any questions, and see if you want to enroll for this course. Just do that and avail all of these offers. Okay, my team won't be able to help you if you just go or ask beyond this particular dates that we have, right? Yeah, just try to do that. And yes, that's one thing. And I just wanted to go kind of show you how to install Power BI Desktop. It's a free version, so just go ahead and get that installed. You can come back to the next session and we can have a kind of a working session as well. So we'll just do it that way. So this is how you install Power BI Desktop. Okay, so just go to your machine and just look for Microsoft Store. Yes, oops, sorry. So just look for Microsoft Store and open Microsoft Store. This is the easiest and the simplest way of installing the software. So open Microsoft Store, search for Power BI Desktop in that particular store, and that should give you the Power BI Desktop app here. Okay. So get that installed. Just it will say install or get it now, something like that. Just click on that button, install that software, and that's the easiest way to do. Okay. So get into your Microsoft Store in your laptop, or desktop. If you have Windows 11, Windows 10, Windows 8, this will work. Windows 7, we don't have Power BI coming for Windows 7 anymore. So that's kind of depreciated. So you just can go and have this installed in your machine like this. It's a free software, no licenses, no trial period required. Just go and install it. You can build those reports as we progress and just keep it ready. Okay, so install this software. This is the only thing that is required. So click on this particular item and you can just go ahead and get that installation done. Just it says open for me because it's already installed. But if not, you will be able to install it using that blue button. Okay, just do that. Keep it ready for the next session and we'll just go ahead and walk into those details later. Yeah, any questions? All right. If not, I'll hand it over to my team. Karthik, you can take over if you have any last minute questions or things.
Yes. So if you have any questions, you can just like ask me here. So regarding your registration process, regarding like if you have any doubts regarding the course. Okay. So any questions if you have, you can just unmute and you can ask, please.
Hi, Karthik. Hello.
So,
Yeah, please go ahead.
sir,
Yeah.
Once
Power
complete the
BI,
sessions, it will upload the video.
Yeah. After
uh,
every session, see, like most probably like we'll be completing the session by 9:30. Okay. If we
Okay.
complete at 9:30, most probably by 11:30, like we'll be adding the video to website. So no need to worry.
Yeah.
yeah. So Power BI Desktop is the only thing we have to download, right, for practicing Power BI.
Amrishwar, are you there?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Power BI Desktop is the only thing that you need. Yeah.
How will we provide these videos through this OneDrive?
No, not the Google Drive. Actually, like we have a website, right? I have shown the website, right? So in that
Okay.
website, like you need to create an account using your Gmail ID. So from there, like you'll get the complete like material access and video access. Don't worry, like once you enroll, like my team will explain you like how to access the videos and all. Don't worry.
Okay.
So I have received only few numbers. Okay, I have received only few numbers. So if you haven't posted yet, so just share your number here so that like my team will get in touch with you. If you have any questions also, like you can ask, no problem. Okay, and the numbers that you need to contact is just a minute, I'll show you in the screen. Okay, so here is the number, right? So that is 810-529-6858. Okay, so this is our WhatsApp number. This is our WhatsApp number. You can just like a call or WhatsApp on this number so that like my team and like I'll be available here. So we'll be taking care like any question that you have. So as I said you, the offer will be ending by tomorrow. Okay. And the offer is like flat 20% discount. So as the course price is 15,000 rupees for the Power BI training. So you will be getting a 20% discount on this and your price will be just 12,000 rupees if you enroll today. Any questions from any end?
So directly we can enroll through site, right?
No, from website, like if you enroll, it will show you 15,000 rupees only. Okay,
Okay.
so if you want to enroll through website, okay. So yes, in the like website, like we haven't added any kind of a promotional code here. Okay, you will get the payment details through WhatsApp. Okay, so from there, like you can access it, no issues. Because if
Okay,
you
I'll
enroll
will
here,
come.
it will be like 15,000 only here. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Is there any other ongoing morning batch?
No, the batch is already ended.
Oh,
So hope everyone is good with the things. Okay, so if you have any doubts, okay, you can ask me here, or else as I told you, you can contact me here on 810-529-6858. Yeah, someone is asking. Yes, please. Yeah, hope everyone is clear with all your doubts. Okay, so if you have any questions, as I told you, you can just contact me on this number 810-529-6858. Okay, thank you all. Thank you for joining the session.
Hi, Ambarishan sir.
Yes, please.
And in real time, who will provide to like a business end user, right? Like a kind client data.
Yeah, I'll explain you all that in this session. From tomorrow onwards, you can understand that. So I'll tell you how to connect to the data, where is the data, how to get to the data, and I'll also share all those data sets. So no worries on that. Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah, that should be it then. So thanks everyone for your time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Karthik. Thank you. Bye bye. See you.